Hello everyone. Today we are going to make that same firefighter t-shirt design, but today I'm going to make it in Photoshop, and this is really easy and lot more less work than making it in Illustrator, because in Photoshop we are going to use some PNG images, not some vector elements. And for this design I am going to use some of these elements like this firefighter truck, this firefighter logo, something like this. Now the first rule is you need to create the artboard, and that is like creating this one. So I am using a artboard that is 4500 into 5400, and that is 300 dpi. So this is the main part of it. Whatever software you are using, Illustrator, Photoshop, or anything else, just make a png of 300 dpi, and that's good for a t-shirt design, because we are not going to print them manually. We are going to use some print on demand. Okay, so for this kind of images, as you can see, it is just a white background image. This is not a complete png, so we need to remove the background. And for removing the background, there are tons of different ways. I'm using my magic wand tool, and if I click on the white area of the design, something like this, you can see it is making a selection. Now as you can see, it is selecting some of the important parts of our image, and if you don't want that, it is basically all about the tolerance. It is now 50% or 50. If I make it decrease like 20% maybe, then if I make a selection again, you can see now it is selecting less of my object. And yet if it is selecting anything that is important, we can deselect that. Now I want to select this part too, so I'm pressing shift on my keyboard, and with shift, if I click on these areas, it is going to add them in my selection, something like this. So if I increase the tolerance, it is going to select some bigger areas, but that I don't want right now. I want them to select it like smaller parts at once, and that will give me options to deselect or select anything that I don't want. So this is an on option like this. Now if it is selecting anything that is important, like as you can see in this area here, it is selecting this part, so I can use my lasso tool, and with my lasso tool, it is inside the selection. If I press alt and then draw a line like this, it is going to make that area deselect, and we can fix it like this. And that's a lots of work, but I'm not going to just do it all. I'm just going to keep it as simple as possible. So I'm just deselecting this area. That is good. Okay, so once our selection is made, whatever we wanted to select, once it is made, we need to inverse this selection. Like we are right now selecting the white area from the design. Now I want to select my vehicle, the truck here. So if I go to select and then inverse, or you can press Ctrl Shift I, it is going to select it inverse. Now if I, like, let's use the transparency here. So whatever is transparency in Illustrator, it is called layer mask in Photoshop. So once our selection is made like this, if we just, you can see it is only selecting our track right now, the else area is not selected. So if I click on this layer mask icon like this, it is going to make a layer mask, and inside this layer mask, whatever we will paint in black, that will be invisible. Like if I take my brush tool and my foreground color is black, if I paint it, it is going to invisible, like erase that part. But it is not erasing, it is like the transparency, it is hiding. So if I press shift, it is going to toggle between the foreground and background color. Now my foreground color is white, and if I just draw this area again, it is going to come back, something like this. So this is what transparency does in Illustrator. Whatever we put in black, that becomes invisible, and in white it becomes visible. Anyway, so this is the position we want our track to be. We can just now drag it and then bring that in our main artboard like this. I'm making it a bit bigger because this is the main design area. Now these are some PNG from different websites, some free websites. You can search on Google for free PNG images. Just make sure that you are not taking anything that is copyrighted. So for this firefighter, if I click on this white panel or white area, it is going to select it like this, and as you can see there is some area that is being selected but it should not be. So I am selecting my lasso tool, and with pressing alt I can just make a selection and then it will be deselected, something like this. And the same way, if you want anything that is not selecting but you want to select it without pressing the alt, you can press here like with the lasso tool. If I, sorry for that, I need to press my shift key, and if I draw like this, it is going to add those inside the selection, just the shift and the alt. You need to remember this anyway. So this is my firefighter image is now selecting. Let me check if it is not selecting anything that I want. Okay, so this part is not selecting, so I'm taking my magic wand tool again. Then if I press shift and click here, it is going to add this part. So sorry for that. Okay, something like this. Now I need to make sure that the area whatever I don't want, it is selecting. It can be trickier sometime, but let's not worry about this too much. Okay, so this much is good for me. Now when the selection is made, I am pressing shift control shift I for inverse it. Now I am pressing on clicking on this layer mask icon. It is going to erase the background layer, but it is not erasing, basically it is hiding. So we can, if you want, we can bring that later. So I am dragging that image in my artboard like this. So these are PNG images, that's why they are small in size. So something like this, I'm going to place it like this. That much is okay for us. Now for the truck, here you can see here is some problem. So if I select the truck layer, and inside the layer mask whatever we have here, if we take our brush tool or maybe take our lasso tool, with lasso tool if we create a selection like this, just like this, whatever area we don't want, it is going to make it a selection. Maybe I am pressing shift to add these areas inside the selection. So that is also good. Now for, okay, that part is done, looking good this area. So I am taking my brush tool and making sure that my foreground color is black, and if I paint over this area, it is going to hide it. So this is really easy, and we are using some PNG images, so it's really easy to work like this than Photoshop, sorry, the Illustrator, because vector files are too much heavy. Okay, so I need this firefighter badge. Again, I'm taking my magic wand tool. Now as you can see, it is not selecting very perfectly because I don't want these shadows to be here, so I need to just increase my tolerance. So it is all about the tolerance here. Everything we are doing is just because of the tolerance. Bigger tolerance, or yeah, bigger in number, that is making, that will make the bigger area selection, and the smaller number will make it a small area. Anyway, so the logo is selected like this. I'm pressing shift control I for inverse, again clicking on this layer mask, and the layer mask will make this area transparent. So this is really easy. Now I am placing it like this. So it is placed, we cannot see it because it may be behind this firefighter. So let's press Ctrl T for scale tool, transform tool. Now if I make it bigger, it can be visible like this. So I want to place it something like this. Now for this design, I want to keep my this firefighter on foreground, then the truck in the background, then this logo just behind the truck. So I need to drag this layer down all the way. Now you can see my logo is in the background, then truck on top of it, then my firefighter. So this much is good for me. Let's make them a group. Okay, before making them a group, let's bring in our some fire elements. Now these are, I don't need them like right now because I have them already in my original artboard, and that is good. So I'm pressing Ctrl O for open. Now this is my some of the fire elements I wanted to use. All of them are PNG images. I downloaded them from different websites. So this one I'm going to, as they are PNG, I can simply use them. I don't need to make the selection kind of thing. So that is good. Okay, here is one problem, that when the file names are big, it becomes hard for us to use in Photoshop because the bigger file name shows up bigger in this area. So for fixing that, I need to go to that folder where I downloaded them. Okay guys, so this is that folder. Now I am going to rename them kind of fire. Now I just want to open them again, and that will be easy for us to work. And as you can see, when the name is smaller, it stays small, and then I can just simply drag them to my artboard original layer. So that is good. Okay, this one I wanted to use here, something like this. Again, I'm placing it in this position, a bit bigger maybe, just like this. That is good. Now this one I want to place right in front of my Firefighter logo, so I need to bring that layer in on top of this layer. This is the logo layer. If I turn this off, and this is the fire layer, so it's looking like this, something like this, and that is good. Now for this area here between the truck and the firefighter, I wanted to place a another fire, maybe this one. So let's bring that in, something like this, pressing Ctrl T, and then let's just make it bigger like this. So I'm keeping on copy here just to place it like this. It is the firefighter is running towards the fire or inside the fire, something like this. That is good. Let's take our another fire layer. Okay, which one I'm going to use? This one. So I'm bringing that in my layer like this. Now let's make it bigger. So this one I'm going to place in this position, but in front of my truck and in background of my firefighter. So this is my firefighter layer, this is my truck layer, and this is my fire layer. So if I bring that down in between these two layers, it is going to look like this. So as you can see, now the fire is in the background of my firefighter. So something like this looks good. Now for this image, as we just downloaded them from Google, we can do some modifications to it. Like if I select my this firefighter layer and then click on this layer mask, I'm going to right click and apply layer mask. That is going to apply that changes and make it a PNG image. Now that means I cannot make any changes to the background right now, but before making applying this layer, if I wanted, I can go inside this color layer, this clipping mask, sorry, layer mask, and then I can just paint it black and white, whatever I want. I can make changes, but when I am applying this, it becomes a complete PNG. I cannot do that changes anymore. Okay, so this is looking like this. I'm selecting my this firefighter layer. Now let's just go to image adjustment, hue saturation. Let's try to make some changes to the color, maybe something like this. That is good. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to I'm trying to make it a bit red kind of look because it's inside the fire area. So that is good, something like this. Or we can just like make it, first go to image adjustment and then desaturate. It is going to make it a black and white image like this. Now if I control click on this thumbnail, it is going to make a selection of it. Now if I create a solid color layer on top of this, maybe kind of this red, click OK. Now from this blending options, it's normal right now. I can change it to like multiply, then I can scroll my mouse wheel and that is going to change the blending modes. Now I need to find a good tone. You can see this is overlay is looking a bit good. So I want to just reduce the opacity because I don't want it to make it a too much red. So something like this, maybe. Yeah, that much is good. Now changing the hue saturation was making this helmet pink and I didn't like that, so I am using this option to make him red. Now this is good. Now for this design here, this area is not looking very good because it's a hard end here. I need to fix that. So I am selecting my this Okay, maybe this is the file layer, sorry for that, this one. So selecting this file layer, then going to the clipping mask, like layer mask, turn on the layer mask. Inside the mask I am going to paint something in black, and for that I'm going to use my brush panel. So something like a grunge effect kind of brush, something like this kind of brush, that is not a very round style brush, something like this. Now my foreground color is black. If I paint those black over this area, it can be, I can reduce the hardness, like it is just like the transparency option. If it is in black, then it is going to make it invisible, something like this. You can do anything, any other brush you have in your Photoshop, just go with something like this grunge looking. You can of course do it with some soft round the regular brush, that's also fine, no problem, just like this. So whatever way you feel like, you feel right, that is good. And now this is looking good for me. Okay guys, so that is right now looking like this, that's good. Let's create some, I'm just going to take this fire layer and then I'm going to make a copy of it. So I'm pressing alt and then dragging on copy down here, something like this, then pressing Ctrl T to bring it look like this, to make it look like this, that is good. Now this one I want to be just in behind my fire track, otherwise my fire track will not be visible. So I am dragging that just below my fire track, so it's below my fire track but on top of my that firefighter logo. So a kind of theme like this, that is good. Now we need to add some text here like this, something like I wanted to use this, of course, the firefighter text. So I'm going to take my type tool here, paste it here. Now for visibility I'm going to make it white like this, that's good. Let's use a bolder looking font, maybe I'm going to use a scary kind of font. So another danger is a good font. So this is my firefighter text. If I open my text panel, I can change the, I can increase this, okay, sorry for that, not that much, just a bit, or maybe a bit smaller, yeah, that much is good. I'm just increasing the space between my text. So if I click on this tick mark here, it is going to apply. Now I'm pressing Ctrl T. Ctrl T will give me this transform tool. Now I can make it bigger or smaller. So I'm going to place it something like this. Okay, now pressing enter for applying these changes. Now I can make changes here. Now for this firefighter text here, I can simply press T for my type tool, and if I double click to select it all, I can use this wrap option here. This is the same as Illustrator. So you can see the arc option here, arc lower, arc upper, everything here. So let's use our arc lower, and this is the same as Illustrator, same we used to go in the minus value, something like this, or a bit, yeah, that much is good. Let's apply this. Now pressing T for the transform tool, sorry, Control T. Now I need to bring that a bit down like this. It is going to take some time because this text, to finalizing that text, anyway. So that's it for the firefighter text. We can use something else like a clean looking font, but I wanted to create a badass looking font effect here, so that's why I am using this another danger font. You can use any font or maybe the same font from yesterday, go everywhere, that's just up to you. Yeah, that much is good for me. Now I wanted to use another text, that is bring it on. So let's, okay, sorry for that, I need to take my type tool. It is not Illustrator, so I cannot paste text here. So bring it on, let's keep it as it is, same font but a bit bigger in size, something like in this area. Okay, let's bring it a bit down, something like this. That is good. I need to select my this fire layer, then I can move it up like this, so my text will get some more space here, something like this. Pressing Ctrl T for transform tool again to make it a bit more bigger. So when my text is placed in the position where I want them to be, I can now break them. Like they are a text right now. If I right click and then convert to shapes, it is going to make them a shape. These are not text anymore, so we cannot edit them. These are just custom shapes. So when they are shapes, if I like control click on the thumbnail of my firefighter text, it is going to, sorry for that, it is going to make a selection of the text just like this. Now I need to create an offset path here. So for creating offset path in Photoshop, we need to go to select, then modify, then expand, and then this expand tool, expand by maybe 10 pixel. Let's see how it is. So I'm going to make it 10, then click OK. It is going to make a, you can see it is selecting 10 pixel bigger than the original text, and that's what I call it the offset path here. Anyway, so when it is selecting the bigger 10 pixel bigger than the original one, I need to first of all is, that's on top of my this firefighter logo. So let's go to the firefighter logo. This is the firefighter logo. If I click on this layer mask of it, and inside the layer mask I'm going to press B for brush tool, and when it is selected, if I paint anything or like use my brush tool, it will be applied only to the selected area. It will not apply here. You can say it is not working, but if I paint here, it is going to work. So whatever we paint in black, that becomes invisible. So that's what is happening here. We are painting in black in this area, and that's making the area like hidden. It, we cannot see it right now. Maybe we can just turn off this black background, and then we can see that, you can see that is being invisible from this area. Okay, so we will understand that a bit later. So let's turn on the black again. Now for the fire here, I wanted to keep my fire on top of my firefighter text. So let's bring that firefighter text this shape just below, something down like under this file layer. This is the file layer, and it is now below that layer. So that's why it is, the fire is touching my firefighter text. So that is good for that. Now for this bring it on, if I again click control click on this thumbnail, it is going to make a selection. Now I'm going to select, modify, and then expand for offset path 10 pixel. Okay, so it is going to make a 10 pixel bigger selection than the original text. Now when it is selected like this, I need to select this file layer. Yeah, this one. Now inside the layer mask, I'm going to press B for my brush tool. Now if I paint in black, it is going to make those area invisible like this, and that is giving it a stroke kind of feel, or the cutout look, something like this. If we turn off the black layer, you can see here. So this is what happening here. It is erasing the fire. Basically not erasing, it is hiding the fire because we are using layer mask. Okay guys, so this is my final design for this one. Now the fun part is we can do so much more things with them. Like I gave you this style packs, Photoshop style packs, and some illustrator style packs. We can use them. So how can we use them? If I select my this firefighter layer, and then if we click on any of these styles, it is going to convert our text into that style. Let me zoom in so that you can see clearly. You can see it is totally cool, really cool looking effect we can use, and especially for this kind of designs, it will change your design instantly. So if you don't have this style pack, make sure to check our Facebook group. You will find the link, or you can, yeah, this option which where I clicked, maybe, yeah, this one. So if you don't have this pack, you can check our Facebook group for it. I will you will get the download files, or if you can't, you can watch the video where I shared the download pack. Okay, so I need to select this, bring it on text also, this layer, and then I'm going to apply that same effect. It has some kind of the fire kind of effect. Yeah, that's looking cool. So you can see how easily we create a same style, same kind of design, just with some PNG images. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you learned something new from this one. Photoshop is really easy and fun to use, fun using this kind of designs, but I don't get responses on Photoshop designs, so I thought maybe you will not like it. So let me know in the comment section if you like Photoshop tutorials. I will make some more tutorials on Photoshop. And for the final design here, if I turn on this black layer, you can see, so this is what it is going to look like. Now for these images here, this firefighter, let's apply layer mask. I'm going to control click to select it. Now I'm going to add a layer on top of it, maybe something like a yellow layer. Yeah, that is good. Let's try that overlay option. Yeah, you can see that is changing our image, and it is really important because whenever we are using PNGs from Google, make sure that you are doing some modifications to the image. So this is my track layer. Let's right click, apply mask, control click to select it. Now add another solid color layer, maybe same red or kind of yellow. That is good. Click OK, normal, then make it overlay, and it is going to just making some modifications. You can like reduce the opacity, and when we are taking images from Google's and we are using this them in our design, like modifying or making them a unique design, there will be no copyright for print on demands, especially not for stock sites. But still I will not recommend everyone to use this effect or use this method to make designs, because there are lots of things you need to know about the copyrights. So just try them for practice purpose, do not upload them anywhere. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. See you in the next video, guys, and of course let me know in the comment section if I should make some more tutorials on Photoshop. That will be fun for you and of course for me. So thank you everyone. See you in the next video, guys. Have a great time.